Hello and welcome to the last tackle as we look back at the Betfred Super League from last week and then look ahead to the Betfred Challenge Cup with Eddie Hemmings and Kev Brown. Eddie, the Challenge Cup, still very, very special. Early members of Rugby League for me is the Challenge Cup.
Absolutely.
Live
fantastic.
on the BBC.
Yeah, live on the BBC. Great place to go, Wembley, in the good old days. I was talking to Steve-O the other week and he said, his dad used to take him and it was a huge day out, because in Steve-O's day, when there was still horse and carts, you couldn't get to Wembley, get to London. He said, we could see the capital. He said, now I know the youngsters are a little bit different. They get there fairly regularly. But it still has the magic, doesn't it? It's the oldest knockout competition in rugby league worldwide. Everyone wants to go and say, I played at Wembley during their career. I know the grand final has taken a little bit of the shine off it because Wembley was closed down and they were all over the place with the final while the new Wembley was being built. But still, it has a magic about it. And there's some lovely little ties coming up, isn't there, this weekend?
Kev, I think it's better that it's June, because we grew up within May, didn't we? Yeah. 8th of June this year, the final.
And the Magic weekends, there's a big separation from it. So all the stag do's and that, what Steve-O would have gone on his horse and cart, is what they'll all do again. It's what everyone's brought up on in England. But I think it's one thing we've got over the NRL as well, the history we've got behind it, the knockout feel of it, and the giant killings. So I think even the Australians who come over, they're desperate to play at Wembley because it's so iconic.
And we have a women's game, women's final as well, don't we?
Oh yeah, and
Which was brilliant last year. It was brilliant. You worked on it for the BB.
Yeah, it was sensational. I think the skill and how many people are playing the game now in the female version is fantastic, and the quality of the games. There's so many more competitive sides. Wigan, obviously Dennis Betts is leading the charge for them. So I think there's value in that competition too, and I can't wait to see them get going. Right,
let's talk about the Betfred Super League. Right, last Thursday, that's where we're going to start. Salford had illness as well, didn't they? Everyone thought Wigan were just going to rock up and basically batter them. But it ended up being very close and probably should have been closer.
Well, I think it probably should have been a Salford result. For me, the best player on the field for 75 minutes by a mile was Mark Sneyd. And then the last 5 minutes, Salford threw it away. And the one person you probably want, steadying the ship and controlling the end of the game is Mark Sneyd. But unfortunately, he went for a short dropout on the night, which led to a Jake Wardle try. And then I think the worry was always Bevan French was quiet and Jay Field was quiet, and then they burst to life and he comes up with a pass and comes up with a try. But I think Paul Rowley will be really disappointed that the amount of energy that they put in, and like you said, I think Wigan, or everyone expected Wigan just to walk through. Salford didn't think that and should have got the points from that game for myself.
Yeah, Salford are playing really well, aren't they, this year? And
against the odds, let's be honest.
Very much against
the odds.
Small
scored.
They were put in special measures, weren't they? And I know that there's more money now come in and the ground looks like it's being secured for the future. But they were up against it. They lost so many good players last year. 3 of their top-class players now playing elsewhere. Mark Sneyd, though, you're right. February's Player of the Month. Tremendous. I couldn't understand, apart from the shallow dropout, I couldn't understand when they're 12-10 up, they get a man sent off into the sin bin in front of the Wigan posts and they didn't take the kick at goal to make it 14-10. Waste a couple of minutes because they're in the last 10 minutes of the game, so he's not coming back, Harry Smith. Why didn't they take the 2 points?
The call went on. The call went on. Paul Rowley were fuming. Paul Rowley wanted the 2. But Mark Sneyd is a maverick. He must have felt the game was going well and they could have scored more points. And you've got to back your players when they come up with the goods for 75 minutes. You back your players, and unfortunately, on the last 5 minutes, he came up with an error and ultimately a game-defining error. But I think that just shows the character that Wigan have got too.
I'm going to say, where are Wigan at then? Obviously, we know the world champions. That World Club Challenge night was brilliant. The only unbeaten side. Where are Wigan at?
Well, I thought that the emotional dip that we were expecting happened, and that was, on Thursday night. The novelty, against London and the week after against Huddersfield, I think they were protected for that, but I think it's now. But I think they're going, they're back on course, and speaking to the players and listening to, interviews after the game, they were disappointed with that. They were happy with the result and the character they showed, but I think it'll be back to the drawing board and get back to where they want to be, because that was a lacklustre performance for Wigan standards.
Not bad when you can say you don't play terribly well and you win against all the odds as they did against Salford. 15 matches now, isn't it? Straight wins for Wigan in the Super League, stretching back to last July. They're in the Challenge Cup this weekend. Shades of 1998 and the Sheffield Eagles. We'll never forget that. I don't think it'll be repeated. Wigan can take it easy, with all due respect to Sheffield Eagles. They can probably take it easier. And then the next one is the derby against St Helens. What a game that is going to be on Good Friday.
Sell out.
Oh, 100%. Have you got a ticket? Any
I
chance?
am going, actually.
Are you? Why does that
Have you any
surprise
spare tickets?
you need two now. No, it'll be fantastic. It really will. It'll be a great game. It always is. Good Friday wouldn't be Good Friday without Wigan Saints. All due respect to Hull and Hull.
20 years on from Farrell versus Sculthorpe.
I know.
So,
I know. Wasn't that a data? Of course, if they both threw punches like that now, they'd be having 7 matches on the sideline.
Right, Leeds St Helens. Right, Leeds for 25 minutes were excellent.
It was a fantastic start from them, wasn't it? It really was. They played so well. It looked like, hello, Saints are in a little bit of a problem here. But they were only 8-6 up at half-time, weren't they? And they say that defence wins titles.
Yeah.
I know St Helens have always been the side that throw it about and score and flamboyance and all that sort of business. Boy, their defence this year, and in this game particularly at the weekend, was outstanding. They kept them out. They really did keep them out. And they had enough in the tank to go and win it late on. Fabulous. Thursday, I thought, was probably the best game I've seen in Super League this year, Salford. Friday, eclipsed it by all means. You know, it was a fantastic game between Leeds and Saints, and it's a repeat this weekend in the Cup.
Yeah, and I think Leeds are growing every week. I think they'll be better again. The spine with Frawley, Croft, Ackers and Miller are getting better and better every week, and they've started pretty good. Against Saints, I think the dynamics changed at Saints now. They're not the favourites, and I think that annoys them a little bit. I think they're used to being chased down, now they're doing the chasing. But you can't write Saints off ever. I think they're if not the favourites for this competition that we're going into, the Challenge Cup, they're definitely in the top 2. So it's going to be a terrific game, another epic match between two colossal sides, and I think Leeds will be better again and even more difficult to beat this weekend.
Well, they defended well in the second half also, didn't they? Leeds, they had to, because St Helens had so much of the ball. But I think I'm right in saying that St Helens now have won on their last 8 visits to Headingley. Will they make it 9 at the weekend, or will it be repeat or revenge? Who knows? Can't wait for it, actually. Really cannot wait on Friday.
Right, let's move on to Huddersfield versus Hull KR. I've been really impressed with Hull KR. I know we had a couple of defeats going into this, but Hull KR are good to watch as well.
They are, and I think they've worked out what's working and what's not. I think the Petteriku sort of experiment at fullback's not really worked. I played with Petter at Warrington, and he's one of the best centres I've ever played with. And when I saw him at fullback, he's a great footballer, but he's a better centre. And I think Niall Evalds playing at fullback, the balance of the side against Huddersfield looked terrific. And Huddersfield are a difficult team to break down under Ian Watson defensively. But they walked through it. It was quite a comfortable victory. I think they're a team that have got better and better and ambitions to do big things, both in this competition and the Super League.
Yeah, the only slight problem they've got is that they need to find a goal kicker, and quickly, because Petteriku was going to be the man who would do the job for them this year.
Well, Reynolds is in this week, isn't he?
He had a sorry?
Reynolds is in this week.
Right, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, I
for
think
them,
that's a big thing for them.
But they've been really good this year.
Love
again,
watching Mikey Lewis.
Oh, he's a massive loss to them this year, this week rather. The HIA. That was a real blow, and I think they've lost somebody else as well, haven't they? I think there's someone else, possibly, maybe not going to make it. But if Reynolds is playing,
Reynolds will play. Reynolds will kick the goals, but Mikey, he's not going to be able to do what Mikey Lewis can do and set the game on fire if needed.
Yeah, he's fabulous to watch, isn't he? And he gets right under people's skin, doesn't he? He really does, and he upsets the opposition all the time. But he never takes a backward step. He's only about this big, but he never takes a backward step.
I just love how passionate he is.
He is, absolutely. And wasn't he brilliant when he made his international debut? And he teared up in his interview after the match. It means a lot to him.
Yeah.
Right, then, we've got Hull 4, Lee 54. We've only got 20 minutes. What's going on at Hull?
Well,
but joking apart, what is going on at Hull?
Well, the first thing is discipline. It's just been a mess.
More penalties than any other club. more suspensions than...
And it's not just the suspensions what are doing them, it's the missing time when they're actually playing and the pressure that's putting on the team. But I will say there needs to be a mentality shift from Hull. When they go behind, you feel that it could be 50, 60 points every week. And two players that did the damage this week for Lee was Ben McNamara, ex-Hull FC player who let go, Brad Dwyer, ex-Hull FC player who let go. They were the two orchestrators of the downfall. And yeah, they just need to make sure that if they do lose a game, they lose by a try or two, because the good sides don't lose by 50, and Hull FC are losing by 50 at home quite regularly. I thought they were actually really lucky to beat London last week.
They came in late, didn't they?
Yeah.
Late in the game to beat London. 10,000 were there apparently at the weekend to watch the game against Lee, and a lot of them were making for the exits way before the end of the game. Having said that, and Hull are going through the horrors in terms of injuries, suspensions and everything else, and lack of form, what a way for Lee to get off the mark this year. I mean, I was thinking second season syndrome a fortnight ago, but to go to Hull, no matter what problems are, you can only beat what's in front of you, and to win by 54 points to 4. And Lee, listen to the players that they had out. There was no Asiata, there was no Ipapi, you know. Lachlan Lamb didn't make it.
Yeah, I think we all expected
I thought
Hull
Hull might do
we?
them. I really did think Hull might do them, and the agony would go on for Derek Beaumont and the Lee Leopards. But wow, 54-4 at Hull sets them up nicely, doesn't it now? And the confidence you would think would grow.
The game this weekend, Hull FC and Huddersfield, is massive for more than just the reasons of getting through to the Cup.
It is.
Right, then we had Catalan, Castleford. Catalan going along nicely, I think. And then worries for Castleford.
Yeah, I think that they've been really smart in the recruitment and sneaking a world-class kicker in Jordan Abdul. He's brought an extra dimension to that Catalan side. They look really good for making a tilt at both competitions. I really like Sims, the addition to Sims. Defensively, he's terrific, but for me, it's the difference is Jordan Abdul. I really like Nick Arima as well, but the kicking game, when they are struggling to get out, he's just got so much length on his kick that he can go 60, 70 metres into the corner, they back the defence, and then they're in that cycle again. So it's going to be a very, very tough place to go for any team, but Castleford, yeah, pretty disappointing at the moment. I think the new players have come in. It's taking a lot longer for them to fit into Super League than most of the other recruits. So
big job for Craig Lingard, isn't it?
Well, it's huge, and I think his recruitment, and he's talked about it this week, that he's looking to the future, because I think we all will agree, London, God love them, are dead in the water. Because I think you've mentioned before, if they win all three, London, because they're 24th in the grading system, they're not going to be in Super League next year anyway. So you would think that they are on their way out. The problem is that there is another club called Toulouse and another club called Wakefield who are above some of the Super League clubs in their grading if the gradings get passed through. So Castleford could be under a bit of threat for their Super League survival, and they're not playing well. I thought this was a fairly workmanlike performance from Catalan, if I'm honest. I mean, the weather, which has been dreadful here and has led to shocking ground conditions, they've had a little bit of it in the south of France. The drought has broken and they've been deluged by rain. They didn't look the side that you think they're going to be, the Catalan Dragons, against Castleford, but they had far too much in the tank for the Castleford Tigers. And I'm thinking back to 2017 when Castleford, you know, what a season they gave us, getting to the grand final, beating Saints in the semi-final of the playoffs.
One of the best games ever.
Oh, they've gone through the floor, haven't they, this year? And poor old Craig Lingard, he's come in, he's not been there long. I just hope it doesn't go sour for them between now and the end of the season, and particularly this weekend. Yeah,
it could be a Challenge Cup upset, of course. Right, London, Warrington. Right then, you live in the borough of Warrington.
I do, the Royal Borough, yes.
And they're actually top of the league at the moment. Only lost once, and that was away in Catalan the first game.
Don't get carried away, Warrington fans, because after 8 games last year, we're top of the league as well, and look what happened. But I think this is a different kettle of fish.
Right. Warrington fans are very happy with Sam Burgess, aren't they?
Absolutely they are, and he's saying all the right things. He's being pushed out all over the place as well. Certainly was pre-season, I understand. And he's saying all the right things to the supporters. The town deserves better. And he's blooding some really outstanding young players. You know, a lot of the old guard are being shifted out gradually. And the youngsters are coming to the fore for him. I know Alan Hansen once said, you never win out with kids, but, you know, they are playing really, really well at the moment, Warrington. I don't take anything from the 58-4 result at London. As I said, I just think London have come into the competition this year and they know there is no future. Why would David Hughes decide to try and do a Derek Beaumont and invest £2 million of his own money, as Derek did last year, got into the playoffs, won the Challenge Cup? I don't think that's an option for the London Broncos. But the good thing is, from London's point of view, their attendances in their 3 home games this year have outweighed already all the people who came through the gates in the Championship in the full season. So that's really encouraging. And we all say we need a big London club to make Super League the success we all know it is in the north of England. I'm just so sorry that, you know, before a ball was kicked, before a pass was thrown, London knew that 2025 they probably wouldn't be here. I don't think the grading is doing London any favours. I really don't.
Warrington, where are they at?
Well, I think the key players are playing well. I think the fact that Matt Duffy has started sensational. The respect that Sam Burgess got. He did last year in patches. I think consistently I've been watching Duffy, and especially it's not the 3 tries he's scored. It's the work off the ball, the talk, the communication. His body language been positive, and I think Sam has brought the best out of all the players. But I agree with what you're saying, Eddie, about the young players. You know, young Josh Fulish scoring 3 tries, Aidan Doolin getting a couple. Adam Ulroyd, sorry, not Aidan Doolin. Adam Ulroyd getting a couple this week. So I think he's got everyone feeling happy, playing well, but there's going to be bigger tests. I think the draw so far has been quite complimentary to Warrington. I think there's some big games coming up that they've got to knock off before we say they're the real deal.
The little halfback's playing well as well, isn't he?
Leon, great player.
He is, isn't he?
Really standing up.
And did somebody, I can't remember who it was on the telly this week, did they say that he reminded them of a young Andy Gregory? Same sort of size, same sort of stature. If he's half the player Andy was...
No pressure.
Warrington, Warrington have got a real star. And you wouldn't notice that Drinkwater's been out.
No.
You know, you really, and George has missed a few. George Williams has missed a few.
I think the fact that Steph can come in and be that leadership role and slot in and let these young players develop is a master stroke from Gary Chambers and Sam Burgess.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. And don't forget, Steph kicks a goal.
Yeah.
He's a good goal kicker, isn't he?
He's a world-class goal kicker. He nearly got a world record.
He nearly did.
Right, let's turn our attention to the Betfred Challenge Cup then. Let's just look at the last round, first of all. One of the moments of the last round was Featherstone's winning try against Wakefield.
Now they come out to the right. Lino brings it up to the line, and Josh Griffin comes up with the error, and there's some space here. Gale could be away. Gale could be away to win the cup tie. He's going for the corner. He's going to make it. Featherstone Rovers win in the most dramatic of circumstances. Gareth Gale goes 60 metres in Golden Point, and Featherstone Rovers are in the 6th round of the Betfred Challenge Cup.
And that was live on the Sportsman. I'm delighted to announce we've got a live game this weekend on Saturday at 2 o'clock. It's Lee, the Holders, versus Featherstone. So we just saw Featherstone there getting the winner. So we have got the Holders, Lee versus Featherstone, 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, live and free on the Sportsman. That is a cracking game for the Sportsman to be showing the Holders.
Absolute belter. Looking at those pictures, I thought we'd gone back 20 years. I mean,
yeah.
That was Winter Rugby League, wasn't it? At its finest.
It was a great game.
It was a good game. And again, the pitch looked terrible. And how on earth the commentator picked any of them out? You couldn't see a number. You couldn't see what colour they were in. Brilliant. Big blow that for Wakefield, to be fair, because they're ambitious and they have ambition to come back into
lovely
Super
new
League
stand
next year. Brand new stand, as you say. And they're reportedly on the way to try and get Tom Johnson back and making some big name signings for 2025. That was a big blow for them. Massive win for Featherstone. They go to Lee. They'll be playing on a better ground than that for a start at the Sports Village. Lee are the Holders. I wouldn't expect Lee to slip up in this one, and particularly after the boost that they had last week.
Massive confidence boost last week.
Oh, huge. If they'd have gone into that having lost 5 in a row...
Then the pressure's on, isn't it?
Very much so. Very much so. And they'd be thinking, even at this early stage, the Cup's the only thing we've got left but not now. You know, and
some old rivalry there between these sides. I think
there
Fev will be going there going, this is a free hit. We all these ones. They left us in this competition.
Yeah.
Let's go get them.
Well, let's hear from the league coach, Adrian Lamb.
Very pleased, obviously. It's been a long time coming, and when you've lost your first 3 games, it's just important that you try and get a performance together that gives you hope and rewards you for the hard work that you're all involved with. So, grateful of the victory, relieved in a sense because we've been playing some really good rugby amongst some rugby that wasn't exactly us. So it's just nice to see an 80-minute performance get put together. Just to adjust our mentality and the style that we want to play to suit the personnel now of who's in that 17 has been a lot of hard work to just grind out and get a DNA of who we want to be. So, that takes time as well. So to go up to Hull, who were desperate as well to play up there. They had a few players coming back, and Lachie Lamb was ruled out on game day, and so too was Tom Amone. Could have really damaged the group, but I think the way that we've trained and in most matches given ourselves a really good week's prep, and the way that the boys played on Saturday up at Hull there in a really important match for us was outstanding. So it gives us a lot of confidence moving forward. There might be still some downs before there's more ups, but that certainly put us in a good place with a lot more confidence, a lot more trust coming into the Challenge Cup.
It was a good win at Hull for Adrian Lamb's team. And look, let's be honest, obviously we know who won the grand final, etc. But one of the moments of the season was that golden point win in the Challenge Cup final, wasn't it? It was just outstanding. Yeah,
and for the family as well, for
He's
Adrian
allowed to do it, yeah.
You couldn't write a script, could you, that would be better in golden point, in dropping the goal, and Derek Beaumont running on in his leopard print suit, starting a pile on. He looked like he was calling the players at one point.
He claims that was one of his moves, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, I suppose you let him have it. The fact that he's brought all these people in, it's ultimately up to him. So, no, you won't back against them again because they're building something special. And they've had a real tough start to the season, but they've been in every game. And I think the fact that they got over the line this week will give them a lot of confidence to kick on now.
And great to see the holders live on the Sportsman.
Oh, fantastic for you. It really is. It's just brilliant. And as Kev says, an old rivalry with Featherstone Rovers. I mean, to be fair about last year, it was a £2 million moment for Derek, wasn't it? That he was allowed that little moment. I remember talking to him afterwards, and he said he had to make his way down from his vantage point down to the pitch side and as he was going, he heard the roar go up, and he thought, "Oh my, they've scored." He thought they'd scored, and he got down there, and it was, "Hey lads, hey, we've won the cup." He couldn't believe it, and he turned round to Neil Dukes, and he said, "Neil, I think we've won it." And Neil said, "You have, Derek. We have. We have." Marvellous moment. We talked right at the start, Mark, about the magic of the Challenge Cup. There's the magic of the Challenge Cup.
It was a brilliant final.
In a heartbeat. Just a golden point, extra time. We only had one of those in Super League, haven't we? So in the grand final. So fantastic for Lee, and what a season for them.
Right, prediction then for Lee Featherstone.
Well, Lee have got to win it. They've got to win it, no question.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lee's home form, the field, the way that Derek gets the fans on side, I think Lee will be too good for fans.
And isn't Taylor Swift, there's Taylor Swift look-alike tribute act. She's on before, so it's going to, and tickets are selling out all over the place. Look, he's doing exactly what IMG want him to do, Derek.
It's the entertainment business.
Pardon?
It's the entertainment business.
Absolutely, and he's in it. He's in it up to his neck, is Derek, and good on him, and it'll be a fabulous day. You'll enjoy Taylor Swift.
I'm trying to get tickets for the daughter still.
Oh, you'll get tickets.
No, the real Taylor Swift.
Oh, the real Taylor Swift.
Real Taylor
You'll
Swift,
manage that. If you can get tickets for Leeds Saints.
Right then, also on Saturday, Batley versus Castleford. Right, this is Craig Lingard going back to his old club, and they're not in great form.
No.
Could this be a cup upset?
Well, the Challenge Cup has an history of throwing up storylines and drama, and this is all set up to be a potential banana skin for a Super League side. I've actually been to Batley as a player playing in the Cup, when I was playing for Huddersfield Giants, we had some of the best players in the world, Luke O'Donnell. We went there and we should have lost the game. Dave Manning got sent off in the last 10 minutes. We should have lost. It is not like playing rugby league on a normal field. There's a big hill, there's so many things going against you, but the problem for Batley is Craig Lingard will know that better than anyone. So if anyone's well placed to, let his team know about the dangers, it's Craig. But at the same time, it's okay talking about it. It's when you get punched in the face and you're out badly. I think they'll be hoping for more rain. Apparently, it's going to be a tough weekend weather-wise. So I think this could be a real tricky test.
Big test, huge test. They're talking upset at Batley. They really are. And Mark Mox and Craig Lingard know each other, so well because they've worked together, and they worked together under John Keir as well. I think have they been together for 12 years or something, coach and understudy. I mean, you couldn't. Would it be a surprise if Batley won it? Would it?
Not at the moment, unfortunately.
No.
Probably for Cass, it wouldn't be. We're a home team. Right, talking about upsets, obviously the famous one in 1998 when Sheffield won the Challenge Cup, beating Wigan. Mark Aston was the Lance Todd Trophy winner that day. He's now the coach of Sheffield. Wigan versus Sheffield.
Marvellous memories of 1998. Really, really marvellous. In all the years that I've worked in the game, that was the only post-Wembley party that I went to. The Sheffield Eagles party. Tim Adams was the chairman, from now in
Still involved in Rugby League Cares, yeah.
Still involved, and Tim put the golden invitation through the post to us, and off we went. It was a fantastic day. Not for Wigan. I saw Terry outside afterwards with his mum, God rest her soul, and poor old Terry was in a right mess that they'd lost it. But the Challenge Cup. What a magical story that Sheffield Eagles could go to Wembley and do that. And you see Paul Broadbent lifting that Challenge Cup above his head. Nobody thought it would happen. Nobody in the wildest dreams outside of Sheffield. It was fantastic. It won't happen this time. No chance.
Everyone said that last time. I was crying in the stand as a fan. But Mark Aston will be getting that video out, I'm sure, and showing them that miracles can happen. If they put it on Wigan, they beat Toulouse last week, so they're in good form.
Well, they are. And if anyone can pump a side up, Mark Aston can.
Definitely.
But no.
The fact that it's happened before,
but it's
I think Marty Pete will be saying, look, we're not having this again.
No,
so,
and it's at Wigan.
Yeah.
It's at Wigan. Lightning cannot strike twice. You heard it first.
Right, also on Friday night, Leeds versus St Helens. This is live on the BBC iPlayer and BBC Sport. Leeds versus St Helens. Obviously, we've just seen them in the Super League, now in the Challenge Cup.
Well, I think the game last Friday, was the best game that we've had all Super League, and I think that'll be eclipsed by this weekend. I think the jeopardy of a team going out, I think Rowan Smith, he's been getting his team and his spine definitely working better and better, and I think, Darryl Clark's slotted in really well for Saints. I think Saints will definitely go there as favourites. The fact that they've got Johnny Lomax and Jack Wellsby, two of the best players in the competition for a long time, playing well already in the start of the season. For me, I'll just take them over the line.
It's a tough one, isn't it? You would think that Saints would go and win again, but the fact that it is 7 days after the victory last week, it won't take a genius to think that Rowan Smith is going through the tape inch by inch, second by second, and he's looking for a little flaw in the St Helens.
And it happens a lot, Eddie, doesn't it?
Yes,
Where
it
you
does.
get one result and then the week after in a different competition, it's completely flipped on his head. So, yeah, it's going to be a great game. Probably the tie of the round.
100%.
Two big hitters, two favourites for the competition. So.
And it's at Headingley as well. Yeah. And the Leeds fans, after last year, desperate for a bit of success. They'll be baying for blood, won't they?
They will.
Right, so that was Friday night. Saturday, of course, we're bringing you Lee versus Featherstone live on the Sportsman. And the week after, we are bringing you some League One action, Oldham versus Rochdale. Then in April, we've got some Betfred Women's Super League action, York versus St Helens. So 3 live games in a short space of time here on the Sportsman. But 2 o'clock Saturday, we have got Lee versus Featherstone. Right, let's quickly round up the other games before we say cheerio. Saturday, 5:30, Warrington versus London. Sure, he's going to keep the feel-good factor going.
I'm sure he is, and the sweep could be won by London. It could be anything, this. If it was 58 points in London last weekend, Lord help the Broncos.
This is what you want, isn't it? A home tie against London.
Yeah, I think Sam Burgess will be just trying to keep that momentum up, regardless who they're playing against, playing well, demanding effort and energy for 80 minutes.
Complacency, Kev?
Oh, there's definitely a risk, but I think the fact that they've been so good last year at the start of the year, I think the talk in the dressing room will be, look, don't get ahead of yourselves, feet on the floor. And Sam Burgess is one of the best leaders and motivators of men that I've been around, so I can't see complacency being an issue.
Another old Super League tie. Hull KR, of course, got beaten in the final last year versus Salford.
That's mouth-watering too, isn't it?
It is.
It's a toss of the coin, I think, that one. And, but we've said Mikey Lewis isn't there. I'm not sure.
Salford looks so strong.
They do, don't they?
Joe Mellor's in, Jack Ormeroyd's back from illness. Off the back of a good performance, I think Salford will go there and be really confident that they can do a job on Hull KR.
Golden point, there you go.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? Right, 2 o'clock Saturday, Huddersfield, Hull.
Jeopardy. More reasons than one, I think. Both
huge
coaches.
game for both coaches.
Yeah,
Do you think more so for Hull?
Yes.
With where they are at the minute, third bottom of the table.
And the way they've been losing, the performances have been poor, the fans have been walking out. There needs to be a response. And sometimes you say there needs to be a performance. There doesn't. There needs to be a win. They need to win and get through.
The next round.
Yeah.
Hull have got a great record in the Cup, though, haven't they? I think I'm right in saying that they've been in a number of consecutive quarter-finals of the Challenge Cup after their 2 wins, 2016-2017, going to Wembley and winning it with Lee Radford. But it's desperate for them. They really do need it. And
sometimes that's the kickstart they need, isn't it?
Well, it is. But Huddersfield needs something. This time last week we were saying, Huddersfield are over the hump. And then look what happened this weekend. And Ian Watson looking for a bit of consistency and a little bit of drive, and it suddenly came crashing down around his ears at the weekend.
And then last game is Sunday, Halifax Panthers versus the Catalan Dragons.
Yeah, Halifax will be difficult to beat, but the way Catalans have started, the size of the pack as well, I'd expect.
We used to always criticise for Catalans for being inconsistent. They've got rid of that, haven't they?
They have, and I think Steve McNamara is, a massive part of that. He demands consistency. I think the team he's got together now, he's kept leaders like Sam Tompkins around the place. So I think they'll go there, and I think, they've already had a taste of that success a few years back. I think they'll want to go there, and they've got a genuine chance of having a fantastic cup run again this year.
Right, let's pick one each, then, for the Betfred Challenge Cup. Who's going to lift the trophy in June?
To win it? It all depends on this weekend. You can't really see beyond Wigan and Saints for anything. Warrington are praying that they get something, but I think they'd swap the Challenge Cup for the Super League title if they possibly could. I'd love to see Lee get back there again. I'm sitting on the fence here. I've no idea. I've no idea.
You said everyone
you don't
in
work
the league.
For Sky anymore now. You don't work for Sky anymore now. You can.
Okay, Wigan.
I think.
A safe bet.
Well, the best team we've seen so far, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the best, and Saints probably just behind. But for me, I think Leeds. I think they're getting better and better. I think.
So Leeds to knock out Saints this weekend.
Leeds to knock out Saints.
You just said Saints would probably go there and win.
Probably. There is a possibility.
No, you did say it, not probably said it. You definitely said it.
I think Leeds can. If Brodie Croft and Andy Ackers play like they did last year, they've already started very well. I think they could go on and galvanise that Leeds side and go on and do something special.
Right, gents, thanks for coming in. Kev, you'll be on soon. I'm not sure when. You're back with us next week.
Yes.
When we're building up to obviously the Hull derby.
Oh, it's Easter, of course, yeah.
And St Helens versus Wigan. Final ever game you commentated on Sky, wasn't it?
The last ever, but at Wigan, yeah. It always brings back happy memories or unhappy. No, happy memories. It was really, as I've said all along, Good Friday would not be Good Friday without Wigan Saints or Saints Wigan. It's a fantastic, fantastic game to go to. Be a wonderful occasion this year because they're both going so well. It's a full house, no tickets to be had, apart from people in the know. That'll be great. Really, really great, and happy. Great memories for me. 5 years.
Is
5 years now. 2019, Good Friday at Wigan.
5 years retired.
Finished. Look at the state of me.
Yeah, your golf's no better either, isn't it?
Golf's awful, but at least I'm above the fairway and still breathing.
Exactly. Right, gents, thanks for coming in. Enjoy the Betfred Challenge Cup.